Kaelen lived his life in the quiet safety of the lower valleys as a simple shepherd. Then, a falling phoenix feather landed on his coarse wool scarf, igniting a mantle of living, magical fire. This celestial flame granted him immense power, but it was dangerously volatile. Knowing that a single misstep or a sudden spark of anger could reduce his entire village to ash, Kaelen walked away from his home. He climbed upward, breaking through the forbidden mists to reach the celestial ridge. Ahead of him lay Aethelgard, a sprawling sky kingdom that serves as the absolute physical border between the dirt of the mortal earth and the magic of the divine realm. Up here, magic is the only governing law. Possessing immense power does not guarantee your survival. If you lack the strict structural discipline to manage that magic, the atmosphere will tear you apart. That is the immediate physical threat Kaelen faces at the city gates. He carries a mantle of unrestrained fire. He has to learn how to control it right now, or the heat will literally burn away his mortal body. To survive, he has to navigate Aethelgard's trials. He must prove that holding the destructive force of a god means absolutely nothing if you lack the mental architecture to aim it. His education begins with the magician. This guardian of the threshold introduces Kaelen to Aethelgard's core rule of duality. Every magical force requires a physical counterweight. The blinding energy of starlight only functions when it is grounded against a blade of cold iron. For his first trial, Kaelen must light delicate ritual candles without burning the ancient books sitting right beneath them. He succeeds by pulling back on the phoenix's explosive heat, channeling the slow, rhythmic patience he used to herd sheep in the valley. Earning his passage into the city brings him before the twin rulers of the realm. First is the Empress. Sitting deep within her blooming groves, her pillar of governance relies on boundless generation. Her domain is abundance, fertility, and the constant sprawling birth of new life. She tasks Kaelen with a mission of cultivation. He must carry a silver seed out to the scorched, dying edges of the kingdom and plant it, ensuring that new life can take root even as darkness encroaches on the realm. But before he can march to the borders, he is summoned to the jagged, salt cliffs of the Great Rift. Here, the Emperor waits. This environment strips away the soft light and blooming vines of the Empress, replacing them with harsh, unforgiving rock. This diagram shows how Aethelgard structures its power. On the left side, the Empress's influence manifests as wild, organic green branches weighing heavily on the scale. The Emperor provides the necessary counterforce. He rules through strict military order, secular law, and foundational stone. The Emperor's absolute rigidity snaps the scale back into equilibrium. He hands Kaelen the Aegis of the Crag, a heavy steel pauldron, driving home his lesson. A seed needs soft soil to grow, but a kingdom requires an unbreakable stone foundation to survive. A true sovereign must embody both extremes. To lead Aethelgard, one has to cultivate the fertile vulnerability of the seed while maintaining the absolute, unyielding density of the stone. With the Emperor's steel on his shoulder, Kaelen leaves the secular military fortress and steps into the great cathedral of oaths. The brutal logic of warfare is replaced by the deep, resonant chanting of sacred mysteries. He studies under the Hierophant. This high priest teaches Kaelen that wearing a mantle of fire requires a strictly disciplined mind. The precise, repetitive performance of rituals and adherence to social order create an anchor, keeping a sovereign's mind from dissolving into the chaos of their own magical output. Kaelen undergoes the rite of the resonant heart. Through hours of intense spiritual discipline, he forces the vibrant energy of the silver seed to match the heavy vibrations of his steel aegis. This creates a frequency that can protect his mind from the psychological toll of the wasteland. Later on the road, this rigid, forced control meets a stark contrast. Kaelen encounters a woman named Valeraine sitting peacefully beside a massive, glowing lion. She does not command the beast with spells or dominance. They simply exist in a quiet, respectful silence. He quickly learns why he needs Valeraine's brand of calm. The path forward is blocked by the Shattergate. This mystical barrier feeds entirely on kinetic energy. Every time Kaelen strikes the gate, the crystal wall absorbs the shockwave and grows thicker. To get past it, Kaelen has to pass the trial of the still heart. He removes his heavy armor, lays his weapons in the dirt, and stands completely defenseless in front of the gate. He must actively suppress his lifelong instinct to fight and conquer. The gate opens. The most difficult trial in Aethelgard proves that true strength relies on absolute internal command. To defeat an immovable object, you often have to yield to it. Kaelen pushes upward into the frozen altitudes of the frost-veined peaks. Exhausted by the heavy expectations of command, he strips away the insignias of his rank. He trades the external conquest of armies for the internal conquest of his own isolated mind. Deep inside a cathedral made of ice, he meets the hermit. The old man offers a quiet observation about the companions Kaelen left behind. Souls enter a journey for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Forcing a temporary alliance into a permanent structure fights the natural current of the world. Accepting this clears Kaelen's mind, allowing him to perceive a mechanical hum deep within the mountain. He follows the sound out over the Great Falls to his final destination, the Great Wheel of Fortune, the massive celestial machine that dictates the shifting fate of the realm. This animation shows Kaelen's ultimate realization. The Great Wheel is not a closed, repetitive loop of suffering. When viewed from a higher dimension, the architecture of fate reveals itself as an ascending spiral, a continuous upward pathway of growth. Looking around the precipice, Kaelen finds the rusted, broken gears left by those who failed the climb before him. Using these discarded remnants of past ambition, he builds a mechanism to hoist his own golden sphere into perfect alignment with the cosmic machinery. Kaelen completes his cycle, weaving the humility of a shepherd with the fire of a god, balancing the emperor's rigid stone with the empress's wild growth. He ceases to be a chaotic vessel. He becomes the steady axis around which Aethelgard's future will turn.